Hey everyone, it's Allie and welcome to my channel. Today we are doing a little fireside chat. Haven't really done one of these in a while. I guess I did do a Q&A just a few weeks ago, but I was doing a lot of these over like the Vlogmas season because I was doing daily videos, and I do really enjoy just these chit-chatty videos. So if you have any topics that you want me to talk about, definitely feel free to leave them down below because I would love to do more if I just have more ideas. But today I kind of just wanted to talk. I didn't really write any notes or anything, so hopefully I can keep myself on track. But I wanted to talk a little bit about why I left my career basically to start a new creative career, which is not something that people often do, I feel like. Okay, so just a little bit of background about me. I went K-12 private school where I feel there was a lot of emphasis on going to college, getting a great job, getting married, you know, settling down, living just kind of like a typical life. And of course we talked about careers and things like that when I was in school, and I always seemed to struggle a bit to figure out what I really wanted to do as a kid. I wasn't the kind of kid who was like, I want to be a nurse,
I want to be a teacher,
things like that. I did have an idea of what I wanted to do, but it wasn't one that was necessarily encouraged in the school system because it's not very stable. And that is the fact that I wanted to be an author, not a journalist, not like working for a news station or writing TV shows or anything like that. I wanted to be a novelist. I wanted to write stories and put them out in the world, and to me that just seemed like the best job in the world. And I had this idea in my head for many, many years, knowing that it probably wasn't going to work out that way. I wasn't going to be able to just write and expect to get published or to get a lot of money. I knew I was very realistic about the fact that that's not really the way things work. And so I really was quite unsure about what I wanted to do all through most of high school. I had kind of thrown around the idea of being a teacher because a lot of people said I would be a good teacher, and that was very kind of them. I think just going more based off of my personality. I always really liked working with kids a lot, but honestly, the whole classroom control thing is not really in my wheelhouse of skills. I really found that I like working one-on-one with people in general. I am an introvert for sure. I get overwhelmed by large groups of people, and pretty much I'm just a pushover, and there's no way that I can really control a group of children. But that was something that was kind of in my head when I was in high school, just because, like I said, I do kind of have more of that like nurturing personality, and I do like kids. And it wasn't until my senior year of high school when I took an AP psychology course that I really was like,
oh, this could be an area that would make sense for me.
Because I like helping people, I want to help people, I like working with people more one-on-one than a group setting, and I knew I didn't want to do anything medical. Pretty much gonna throw up at the sight of anything. I get very easily disgusted by bodily functions. So I knew like being a nurse, something like that was definitely not gonna be the thing for me. I had even thrown around like being a dietitian or nutritionist, but again, just didn't really like science that much, didn't enjoy that, didn't think I could really make it through 4+ years of school in order to do that kind of career. But once I took AP Psych, I really fell in love with the material. I thought it was extremely interesting, and I thought that based on my skill sets, it would kind of make sense for me to go into a field like that. And so I started college. I went in as a psych major. I stayed that way all through my 4 years. I did really enjoy it. I ended up getting minors in English and sociology. Looking back, I definitely wish I would have just double majored in English, but hindsight's 2020. And within psych, if you don't know, there's like a lot of different ways you can go, just like a lot of different majors and careers. So you can go more of the counseling route, you can go more research, you can even go more like into business, like into industrial psych, where you go into businesses and help them perform to the best of their ability, help ensure that everyone is working smoothly together and all of that, which is pretty interesting. But I didn't think of myself as like a business person, so I kind of just wiped that option off the table. And as I was nearing the end of my undergraduate experience, I realized I needed to kind of figure something out. Didn't really figure it out by the time that I graduated, which is totally fine. But I graduated, I started working at a daycare, realized that there was no way in heck I was gonna be able to do that for more than like 4 months, because watching 10 2-year-olds is exhausting, especially when you're getting paid $10 an hour. And so I did decide rather quickly to go to graduate school for school counseling, and I knew that I wanted to take like an extra semester as well to make sure that I would be able to work basically in any setting. And I did end up graduating in 2.5 years with a graduate degree in school counseling and a certification as a nationally certified counselor, which was a big old test that I had to take. It cost me like $500, but it enabled me to work in basically any kind of counseling setting, whether that be a school, private practice, really whatever. But about halfway through my graduate experience, I did really come to the conclusion that I definitely didn't want to be a counselor for a lot of reasons that I won't get into, but it was kind of too much. I am a very empathetic person. I'm a very highly sensitive person, and it is exhausting, really, to speak with people all day long about their struggles and not have that weigh on me. But I knew that I really enjoyed working with people. I liked a lot of aspects of counseling, but I was quite sure by the end of it that I didn't want to actually do what my degree was in. So, you know, enter quarter life crisis there. I think I was about 25 when I graduated with my graduate degree and wasn't really sure what I was gonna do. My husband and I were about to get married. He wasn't really making that much money at the time either, so I was very nervous about what I could go into that would make me feel happy and fulfilled and also make a little bit of money so we weren't starving on the streets. And I was very blessed to have an opportunity with my old high school to serve as a campus minister, which was an enlightening experience. I ended up leaving that job after a year because I don't think I ever felt caught up at the end of the day. It was so much work. I did enjoy many of the aspects of the job, but at the end of the day, it was a never-ending job. I was a one-woman ship. I did many different things, planned many different events. It just was too much, unfortunately. I think I probably lost at least 5 years of my life that year, but it was a great learning experience, and again, realized that I very much do like working with young people, especially in one-on-one small group settings. So then, after I had that job, I found a job doing career counseling at a local university, and I really loved that, and I especially loved that I wasn't in charge. I think it's really important to realize, look within yourself, go through experiences to kind of figure out if you like being the top person or if you like doing what the top person says and just doing your job and then going home. And I found from that first job at the high school that I don't like being the end-all be-all person in charge. It really made me very stressed out. I felt very unsettled every time I came home from work. There was always something more to do. And when I was working at the university doing career counseling, I still got to work with students every day. I still did plan events and things, but I loved having a boss, which some people might think is very weird. And I did have one at my high school, but you know what I mean? I liked having a boss within my department that I could ask questions, and she, at the end of the day, was the one that handled all the problems. And the great thing too about that job was I was actually working as a career counselor part-time because I had started my YouTube channel, and I also wanted more time to work on books. Because in that time when I was in grad school, I did use a lot of my free time to write my first book, which I self-published through Amazon, and if you ever want to check that out, it's always linked down in the description. But by the time I was doing this career counseling job at the university, Thankfully, my husband was making enough money that I was able to just work part-time and kind of use the rest of my week to pursue some of these more creative things. And YouTube, I've talked about it before on this channel, YouTube was something that I was interested in for years before I started my channel, but I just didn't have enough confidence. I just had a hard time getting started. And I think so many creative things like this, like writing, people want to do in the back of their head, but they have a really hard time getting started. And I can even do a whole video on like helping you motivate yourself, because I do have the counseling background and hopefully I could give some good tips in that way. But I kind of was at one of those points in my life where I was like, enough is enough. I'm willing to put in the work now to hopefully see results later. I have never been the type of person that was interested in a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday job, have some kids, go to soccer practice, have a barbecue on the weekends. I always have wanted a lot more flexibility in my life. I've always wanted to travel for longer periods of time, and that doesn't mean I'm lazy and I don't want to work. That's not it at all. I have a lot of faults, but laziness I do not think is one of them. I work very, very hard at whatever I'm doing, but I just couldn't ever see myself in that situation, that kind of typical go to work, come home, watch American Idol, do it all again. So unfortunately, about a year and a half into me doing that career counseling job, I was laid off with COVID and everything. I just kind of was on the chopping block as the newest person to the department. I think literally one person from every department at the university was cut, unfortunately. And at that point, my husband and I kind of had a conversation like, did I really need to find another job similar to that? Or could I kind of pursue all these creative things more full time? And thankfully, I am so thankful that I was able to put more full-time hours into this. And so in this time, I've been able to write more. I'm working on several different books. I've been able to create a few different YouTube channels. I got into reselling, which I did not even realize was really a thing, I guess, when I even started this channel. I just kind of discovered that as I was making more thrifting content and other reseller type people were popping up in my feed, and I was like,
oh, I go thrifting all the time. This seems like a good way to make some money
and have good content for you guys. So yeah, like reselling especially was not something that was even on my radar even a couple years ago, which is kind of crazy where it's all gone for me. I have a room exploding with clothes right now. But I'm going into my 30th year. I'm 29 and a half about right now. I'll be 30 in October. And I've just been kind of reflecting lately that although I'm not where I want to be at all with this channel or even with my reselling business or with my writing, I tend to be really hard on myself with goals. And the tough thing about creative endeavors, especially things like YouTube, is you really don't have control over how many people are going to subscribe to you, anything like that. So it's hard to like have goals about things like that. All you can do is do your best and put your work out there. And that's something that I am really proud of myself at, because even 5 years ago, I would have quit by now just because I would have thought I was a failure for not having 10,000 subscribers in a year or something like that. So I can go into my 30th year this year, I think, and be really proud of everything that I have accomplished, even though it doesn't look like that much, probably to you guys. I really do love what I'm doing, and I'm so grateful to have a supportive husband, supportive family, and friends. I am truly blessed. And I just want you guys to know that if you are working a job and you are dissatisfied, especially if you do have this longing to live a more creative life, just start making steps to get yourself there. Of course, many people are not able to just quit their jobs and just go full force into it. But if you like something creative, if you want to start painting more, or drawing, or writing, or creating YouTube videos, or really whatever, I would really encourage you to just make time for yourself at least a few days a week to work on these things, and then maybe one day you will be able to do that full time. Life is way too short to be miserable in the job that you're in, and it's so important for everyone to realize too that just because you got a degree in something, just because you worked in an area for years and years and years, does not mean that you can't completely change your mind and do something different. And it can be hard too, and I've experienced this a lot about worrying what people think of you. I worry more than I should about what people think of me, but I've gotten a lot better about it over the years, because at the end of the day, you are living your life, and people might have an opinion on that. People are going to have an opinion on everything. But if you are happier doing something, and if your partner is supportive of you and also okay with it, and you kind of figure out how to live your life in a different way that makes you happy and feel fulfilled, definitely go for it. And even if you are in a position where you have like a corporate style job that's extremely structured and there's no way you can get out of it, and maybe you even like the job, but you just feel a space, an empty space inside of you that wants to do something more, make time for that. Maybe cut back on Netflix and put that hobby in there instead. And even for me, like as I said earlier, I really do like working with young people one-on-one, and obviously I'm not really doing that as a YouTuber, as a writer, as a reseller. I'm not working with young people, but to kind of fill that void, I do volunteer in my youth group, and I've just recently started doing like freelance career consulting with high school students. And so that kind of fills that empty space within me, because I found within the last year that although I really like what I'm doing, I wanted to have more interaction with young people. I wanted to feel a little bit more fulfilled in that way. So I hope this all made sense. I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go with this video, but I did just want to talk about it because I feel like there is this really big stigma with leaving a secure kind of job to pursue more creative things. But money isn't everything. You really have to figure out what is important to you, what are your values, and making a ton of money is not at the top of my list of things that are important to me. Having time with my family, having time to do the things I love, and to spend more time with my faith and God, these are the things that matter the most to me, and I have tried to live my life around those values. And hey, if you want to make a lot of money, that's fine too. But if you have any questions for me, or if you want me to maybe make more videos on careers, since I do have background in that, or just counseling topics in general, feel free to leave any topics down below. I am happy to do more of these sit down kind of videos, and I really hope you did enjoy this video. I know this is not like super typical with a lot of my reselling content, but I do really like doing these chit chatty videos every once in a while. But no worries, I'll be back with a big haul on Wednesday. If you like the video, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe. It really does help my channel out a lot, and I will see you next time. Bye.